Good morning. So I'm here from Washington, D.C., from HSMAI headquarters, and very thankful that Mona asked me to participate this year. And what I'm here to talk about is a report from the HSMAI Foundation that has to do with the state of talent, specifically in sales, marketing, and revenue optimization positions. But wanted to give you just a little bit more background on what the HSMAI Foundation is and why this is the type of report and initiative that is important to us in the industry. A few years back, pre-pandemic, the foundation really was the educational arm of HSMAI, producing educational programs in a variety of topics. But we were hearing in all of the executive meetings that we had, everything kept coming up, talent. What are the things that are keeping you up at night? Attracting and retaining talent over and over again. So at that time, Bob Gilbert and the other leaders of the organization decided to change the mission of the HSMAI Foundation to what you see here. And the key points of this are really the last part, the three pillars of attracting, developing, and engaging talent. Those are challenges that are faced, around the world in sales, marketing, and revenue. Certainly, right after that came the pandemic, and these issues became even more important. During the pandemic, how you were going to cover everything that needed to be covered, and coming out of the pandemic, how you were going to get people back into the industry who may have left or been asked to leave because of economic conditions, and how to keep them and keep them engaged. So that's where the foundation comes in. There are many other things that the foundation does. We fund rising leader councils to develop new talent in the industry, young talent. There's also a new initiative, the Century Campaign, which is going to be raising money from now until 2027, which is the 100th anniversary of HSMAI. And then there comes research. So research into topics that the industry wants to hear about and know about. And that research is funded by corporate talent partners. Many of the global hotel brands that exist in this region and in the Americas, partner companies, and a number of management companies as well are funders of the research projects that the foundation undertakes. Today we're going to talk specifically about the report that focuses on the state of talent in sales, marketing, and revenue within the hotel industry. We started this report a couple of years ago. We're going on the third year now in 25. And we want it to be continuous so that we can build on the trends each year and see what's changing and how to help you in the industry navigate those changes. So in this year's report, there were 9 trends that were focused on during the research. And they're trends that are helping to shape what's happening, and also many of them are challenges. So we're going to talk about a few of these in a little more in-depth in a few minutes. We're going to talk about the multi-generational workforce, employee retention, and leadership. But just a little bit on the other ones to give you an idea of what the research uncovered. The gig economy really is, about the need and propensity now for fractional and independent workers in the hospitality industry. It comes into play across categories, but certainly in sales, marketing, and revenue, and are really gaining importance in the industry when you have specific need periods. When it comes to the workplace culture, that's really about listening and learning from employees, which can very much fuel efficiency and productivity. Then when it comes to hybrid work, that's something obviously that really gained speed during the pandemic. And there's still a number of companies that are trying to understand how to incorporate hybrid positions into their sales, marketing, and revenue workforces. And as people have been coming back into the office, there's definitely been a trend to see an increase in productivity. But with it becomes, more challenges in terms of compensation, whether it is the same for people out of the office and in the office. So those are some of the issues there. When it comes to cross-functional teamwork, again, during the pandemic, everybody had to do everything and learn about different aspects of the business. That is definitely still true today, and really helps when you have shortages in labor. And because of the way demographics are changing, it'll become even more important, especially as we get into more of a commercial outlook where sales, marketing, and revenue are tied together. The wellness, the mental health aspect really is about talking to employees and learning what is going to help their development and help them be happier in their jobs. It has to do with wellness programs. Yes, those are important, but that definitely is not where it ends. Personal growth and happiness definitely leads to retention. And then in terms of AI, we've heard a lot about how it can impact the industry. In our aspect in sales, marketing, and revenue, there are definitely increases in productivity that can happen, but there has to be, as we've heard, a real buy-in from the organization so that people are committed to it. And some of that, comes into play. One of the other things in terms of retention, the multi-general workforce, and leadership are the things that we're going to spend a little bit more time on today. So the first one we're going to look at is, these are the three topics we're going to dive into a little bit further. The first one is about the multi-generational workforce. So really, it's unprecedented now that there are 4 generations of workers in the field in our industries. We have boomers, Gen X, millennial, and Gen Z. How do we make it work across all of those different generations, which have different learning styles, different work styles? A lot of it has to do with communication, with providing training programs through digital academies and other in-person types of learning experiences. And then the mentorship piece of it. That goes both ways, and the study found that the most successful companies that have multi-generational workforces take the time to have mentorship work both ways. From older workers being able to pass on knowledge to the younger, and vice versa. So to get a little bit more detail on this, we are going to hear from the author of the study. And by wonder of AI, she's here. No, it's just video, just plain old video, no AI for this, sorry. But Dorothy Dowling, many of you may have seen her name or know of her, but she's an industry veteran, was with Best Western Hotels for many years and is now a consultant with Horvath. And she wrote the report for us this year and is going to be writing the report again for us next year. And she gives us a little bit more insight on the first trend that we're looking at.
I think the number one thing I would suggest is eliminating any kind of aging bias in the workplace, and to really focus on wisdom workers and embracing how they can bring value to younger generations and how younger generations can mentor wisdom workers in terms of a lot of the digital skills and knowledge that they can share. Some of the other things that I would recommend to organizations is for commercial leaders to really embrace real estate training in terms of understanding owner mindset and the value creation that we have to deliver. And the last part I would really recommend is really embracing some level of formal and informal training opportunities in terms of stretch assignments and other ways so that everyone can learn together, wherever they sit on that generational spectrum.
So one of the updates since the report was written, we looked at some other research that was being done out there, and it is troubling what has been found in terms of the communication that's happening between the generations. As you see there's very little communication and contact between Gen Z workers and older workers, and the thing that's missing there is the passage of knowledge that comes when there's more communication. All right, so the next trend we're going to look at is retention. And that's one of the pillars of the foundation is once you have good workers that you want to keep, how you retain them. And one of the issues currently is, you're competing not just with other people in the hospitality industry, but with other industries for your workers. And to do that, to retain them, you really need to work on upskilling and reskilling. And that comes into play, like we heard yesterday, with AI to have to unlearn. And now to relearn, you need to provide lots of opportunities for that, both in terms of in-person and also digital learning experiences. Things that you can do are, job shadowing, simulations, and stretch assignments to give people really more challenging assignments. All right, so let's see what Dorothy has to say.
In the talent of today and tomorrow, we have to embrace the reality that retention and building talent is our future. It's no longer something we can just simply buy on an as-need basis. So in terms of actual opportunities, marketplaces for your employees where they can actually identify their skills and the dreams that they have for their own personal growth, and really building roadmaps with them and for them to really retain them, grow them, and build your talent base.
And just some of the latest research here is, people are afraid, workers and companies are afraid about workers being able to absorb the new technologies and the new skills that are going to be required, that a lot of them don't have it currently. That they are fairly optimistic about their ability to provide resources to do that. And it really, again, goes to supporting the employees and their future growth. All right, and our last trend that we're going to follow a little more deeply is, how leaders need to lead today to be able to retain and attract, the best employees. And really, it starts at the top with values and purpose being communicated down through all of the employees and making them understand where they fit, especially in terms of revenue and profitability. To encourage learning and collaboration are very important to successful leadership today. So last one that we'll hear from Dorothy.
The responsibility of today's leader is we have to drive culture. So what does that mean? Number one, leaders have to connect the dots in terms of how strategy, what is required, and how the employee actually contributes to driving those business outcomes. The number two thing is leaders have to demonstrate caring. Employees want authentic leadership in terms of showing that they are valued and cared for. And lastly, leaders have to develop their communication skills. They have to be able to help employees understand and really be good listeners.
And just a little bit more that we've seen since the report came out. Being connected, feeling connected for employees really leads to job satisfaction and retention. So when employees feel connected to their coworkers and to their bosses and to the company, the retention factor is significant. So, like I said, this is an ongoing report. Every year we're doing it. And for the 25 report, which is being written now, we could use your help. So Dorothy has asked that we're looking for company case studies from around the world. And so these are some of the topics in particular, a lot of them related to hybrid and remote work, but communication and developing commercial leaders, how you're doing it in your organizations. If you'd be willing to share and talk to her about your experiences, you can send me a message or get in touch with Mona, and we'll get that incorporated into next year's report. You can access the report, the full report, at hsmaifoundation.org, and it's available there for download. Before I go, there's one other thing from HSMAI that I wanted to tell you about. And HSMAI also runs globally the Adrian Awards. The Adrian Awards is the largest travel marketing competition in the world. And this year we had 800 entries from 26 countries. And we had more entries from the Middle East than we've ever had. And we're happy to announce many winners as well. So here you can see the entries that have received bronze, silver, and gold awards in this year's competition from Hilton, IHG, and Rotana in a variety of advertising, digital, and integrated marketing categories. So congratulations to those of you who entered and won. And we'll be celebrating those winners at a gala in February in New York. But my time's up, but want to say thank you, and please reach out if you have any questions about the report. Go to hsmaifoundation.org to download your copy. Thank you.